I would say, the list of the street of the city. It can be the organization of the ministry. Okay, how many Secretary of State, how many direction, the name of the direction. All of these are public documents, public information. Okay, and as a citizen, I have the right to have it. Okay, I gave you one more example. In France, I used this example last week. In France, all the hospitals, which are administration, public hospital, they have the list during the COVID, they have some data, they have some document when they go, we still have this vaccine. 70 doses of this vaccine. 100 doses of this other vaccine. Okay, they have this information. And one citizen, one guy, write to every hospital and he said, send me all this list. It's a public document. As a public hospital, you create this list because you need to know how many vaccines you still have, etc. So it means it's a public document. There is no personal data there. There is just the name of the vaccine and the number of doses you have. Okay. I don't know if you say dose in English. Shot of vaccine. Okay. So you have this information. It's a public document. As a citizen, I ask you to send it to me. You have the obligation to send it to me. Okay? Remember this example because we're going to talk after about, I'm going to take this example for every situation. So, one guy asked the hospital, public hospital, send me the list of every vaccine you have and the number of every vaccine you have. Public document, the hospital has the obligation to send it. Okay, that's the best example, the good example of public document. I won't talk about the detail, as I said, okay, we can talk after about it, but I want you to focus on the very big concept. You see, just practical details. For instance, the document must be finalized. So if the hospital has the list, but not the complete list of all the vaccine, the hospital can say, sorry, I won't send to you the list because the list is not complete, the list is not finalized, etc. Okay, so it's practical stuff. Okay, so let's not talk about it. Just remember my example. In some situation, there is some exception. The regulation, the law in France said for some document, there is not this obligation to apply. Okay? We have some exception. Sometimes you don't have the obligation to send a public document. When, for two kinds of document, two sorts of document, some document that you can send not to anyone asked, but to the person concerned. Means that it's a document about me. Okay? If I ask the Ministry of Health some document about you, okay, with your personal data, we are here. We are here, and it means that it's an exception. The ministry, the administration can say, sorry, that kind of document, which are documents about privacy, you have all the list here, privacy, health situation, etc. So some personal situation, but other situation too, for instance, business secret, etc. The administration can send this document only to the person concerned. Okay? So if I ask a document where there is your health data, the administration will answer, sorry, we can send only to you. Okay? Not to me because I'm not a concerned person. Okay? That's the first exception. Second exception, we will have the right to send to anyone. So, not me who asked the document, not the person concerned, not even the person concerned, anyone. And this document, well, you have the list here, you can read it, you have the document. Here is this exception, so the administration doesn't have, see, administration must publish, not for any kind of document, when there is, for instance, a secret of the government, secret about the defense, the army, national, what we call national secret, okay, for the safety of the government, etc., or the population, etc. Okay, that kind of information. That kind of information, of course, you don't have the obligation to send it. If I'm a Cambodian citizen I ask to the competent development, to the Ministry of Army, okay, send me public document, public information about how many soldiers we have, how many gun, etc. It's not. They won't send me this information. It's too sensitive. Okay. Okay, national security, etc. Okay, so it's a public document because the Ministry of Army created this document to perform this public service mission, but exception. Okay. And there is an exception to the exception is when there is an occultation. Okay? Of course, if I retake this example of the Ministry of Army, what we call occultation, I will create a fake document, but they have the list of the number of military, stuff like that, okay? Military. Here, there will be, honestly, I know nothing about it, so I'm going to write some stupid thing. 50K thing or something like that. Okay. What is occultation? Means that this document, they don't have the right to send it. Okay. Occultation, they don't do that. When this document is like that, so there is no more information about national security, that's it, then they can send it. Okay. Here is the same. Here is the same. Remember, here is the document you can send to only the person concerned. So here I have your name, a list of the student, or a list of you as a public agent, as a private salary, etc. And there is some information about your privacy. So I have your name, last name, first name, etc. Some other information. This document, which is a public document, I have only the right to send it to you if you ask your information about you. Me about me. Okay? But if there is an occultation, okay, then here too, I can send it. Okay, so I send a document with black pen, okay, or sometimes in French we do that. We change all the sensitive information to that. Then when I change the document and when it's not sensitive at all anymore, I can send it. Is it okay? Yeah? So here it's communication. Don't forget I put a star here. I didn't know how to represent that. So the star is the beginning point. Okay, we start here. Obligation, exception, exception of the exception. Okay. Let's talk about, and we don't talk about all the practical in blue. It's maybe too much detail for a moment. Let's understand the difference. Here, you recognize the same thing. Okay. Here we are talking about open data. So remember that here the big difference is nobody asks nothing. Okay. No citizen asks to the administration something. So without communication, we are talking here about open data. So the administration may open the document produced or received. So the public document. Any administration can open all its document, public document. Means a lot. Means a lot. That's why it's not an obligation. It's a may make the administration may open this public document. Okay? Open means put online. Okay? That's why it's a big part of e-gov. In France, any administration normally now, very often, you go to the website, you go to marseille.fr, okay, FR, and you have a part, open data. You click, and you have some data about the city. There is the number of schools, there is how many schools are adapted to the handicap kids. You have the menu of the school. All of these are public information. Okay. Some documents, all the documents already you can open it, but some documents the administration has the obligation to open. Okay, so for all the documents you can make it public. For some documents you have the obligation to make it public. Okay. let's see this one first, to be logical. So, what kind of document? What kind of document the administration has the obligation to put in open data? This kind of document. Okay, so that's pretty, I copy paste the way they wrote the law, but so for instance, the number 2 you cannot understand the number 2 because we need the other articles, etc. But for instance, the number 3 and the number 4, it's interesting. Administration so has the obligation to put in open data, so to put online the database, produce or receive. No, sorry, we're going to take this example. Data, so any information, remember what is data? Information in a built for a certain purpose and built in the database. Okay? Data with publication present an economic, social, health, or environmental interest. Okay? So we have the public document, it's almost everything that administration produce, and some kind of document, for instance, with economic information, social information, health information, environmental information, the administration has the obligation to put it on open data. Okay, so just remember that there is a document, it's an obligation. Okay, you understand why we are talking about transparency? We are talking about interest for the public, for us, for you and me as a citizen. You and me, we want to know some economic, social, health, environmental information in our own country. Okay? It's interesting for us as a citizen. Okay? How is the economic situation? How is the social situation in our country? Okay? That's interesting for citizens. I want to create my company. I'm a Cambodian citizen. I want to create a company in Cambodia, my own company. I'm an entrepreneur. I will be really interested by that kind of information. That kind of some information that the Ministry of Economy open in open data. Okay? It'll be really, really interesting for me. Remember just that. Remember just that. I can talk about this 2 seconds, but it's okay, the detail. Remember the situation before when a citizen asks a document and the administration sends the document to the citizen. Normally, the second step, when I send it to someone, I need to put it in open data after. Okay? You understand the logical? Means that you as a citizen, you ask a document to your administration, means that you as a citizen, you have an interest about this document. So after that, normally the administration has an obligation to put it online on open data, because if you ask the document, maybe others will be interested by this document. Okay? So it's another obligation, but remember that first point, you can as an administration open what you want, but sometimes you have to open some stuff. And what we are talking about, this is the best example, some document which has an interest for the citizen. Okay? And here you have an obligation to do it. Okay? You have an obligation to do it, and I need to publish it. Okay? Let's go back to this, but really quickly, in fact. Again, some document, because it's exactly like before, because there is some private information, private life, medical confidentiality, etc. Some document you can not put it on open data, but just send it to the person concerned. But I don't know why there is a ban. You can change it on the document redaction, it's occultation. Okay, if there is an occultation, you can put it online. This document of the Ministry of Army, I can put it online on open data. The Ministry of Army, the